Hey everybody, Martin here, your favorite Regina realtor, and today I'm bringing you a video entitled 3 types of properties that you need to avoid if you're a first-time home buyer. I hope you enjoy it. Cheers. Alright, so let's say you're a first-time home buyer, you got your down payment saved, you're excited to get into the market, and you think, I'm just going to get into something, I'm going to buy something, and that's a good start. Well, I actually disagree with that statement because I think there's 3 types of properties that you should avoid, especially as a first-time home buyer, okay? The first is one-bedroom condos. Now, one-bedroom condos are a great buy as an investment because you can usually rent them out to a single professional or somebody that's maybe here temporarily just for work or whatever. And they're easily rented because they're cheap, right? But as a first-time buyer, typically you're buying something, living in it for a little bit, and then you're going to sell it and buy something else, right? As your second property, as you kind of grow, your family grows or whatever, and you're growing with the market. And one-bedroom condos have a tendency to be difficult to sell down the road because it's a very limited amount of people that actually is looking for that type of property, because people have families, people have pets, people want to have a home office, and it's just not a conducive type of property, that type of lifestyle. So I would say if you're buying something that you're going to live in only for a few years and then you need to sell it in order to buy something else, try and stay away from the one-bedroom condos as they are difficult to sell, and typically, though they do tend to hold their value somewhat, they don't increase in value as much as some other properties, okay? So number 1 is the one-bedroom condo. Okay, number 2, I would say it would be an older house. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on this because, of course, Cathedral is very popular, General Hospital area is very popular and affordable. However, if you're a first-time home buyer and funds are limited, you just scraped and saved your down payment, and you get into something that's 120 years old, well, I'm going to say it's probably not the best investment for you. Those houses tend to need a lot of maintenance and a lot of work, and over time, they deteriorate. You're constantly fixing things. You know, there's things like the roof, the foundation, windows, whatever, you know, renovating a kitchen, replacing flooring, trim, light fixtures, electrical, plumbing, geez, you name it. When something's 120 years old, well, you know, time has taken its toll. So, especially if you're a first-time buyer, you don't want to be discouraged. So I would say if you can afford to, try and get something that's built, you know, within the last, I don't know, maybe 40, 50 years. I know this doesn't sound crazy new, but in Regina, I mean, something that's 40 years old can be affordable, usually has some decent upgrades, and you can make that work as a first-time buyer. Plus, it's easier to sell down the road when you need to upgrade to a bigger home because your family's grown, or you're moving your office into your house, or need a bigger yard or whatever. Okay, so that's what I'd say would be something to avoid, would be a older home that needs a lot of work. Okay, and third property I would avoid as a first-time buyer in Regina would be a house in a questionable neighborhood. Okay, I know it's tempting. I get a lot of calls sometimes when people say, oh, wow, you can get a house in Regina. It's decent and it's 60 grand. That's amazing. I want that. And I kind of shake my head and say, well, I don't think that's necessarily the best idea. Again, if you're an investor and you own hundreds of houses and you care about cash flow and nothing else, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But as a first-time buyer, getting a home in a neighborhood that's affordable, that's very, very cheap, but of course is not the best neighborhood, I would suggest staying away from that because, again, those properties are tough to sell down the road when you need to turn it in order to get something better, something bigger, etc., closer to the kids' school, closer to work, whatever, you know, an upgrade. So buying a home in a questionable neighborhood that's cheap, especially if it's like the nicest house on that particular block, I would say I would stay away from that, okay? So, yeah, so I hope that makes sense because, again, a lot of people disagree with me on that, but I think just from my experience doing this for a few years, I find that those type of homes, even though they can be really, really nice, if they're in a bad neighborhood, they're just difficult to sell down the road. And as a first-time buyer, you want to get something that's that you can easily sell down the road when your family grows and when you need to upgrade. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, and there you have it. Those are the 3 properties that I would avoid as a first-time home buyer. Now, that doesn't mean by any stretch that those are bad properties to invest in. They can be very good and very lucrative, depending on what you're looking for. But just as a first-time buyer, they tend to be more difficult to sell and upgrade down the road. So I would suggest avoiding those and getting into something a little bit better. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Anyway, if you have any questions, give me a call, 306-527-0500 or martin@reginaexperts.ca. That's my email. You can also contact me in the form below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions, post them in the comments and I'll always try to answer them. Okay. I hope you're having a great day and I hope you enjoyed this video. Cheers.